As the U.S. and coalition forces are on their way out of Afghanistan, the Taliban is making inroads across the country. The UN has reported that there's about 50 districts that are contested out of about 370, and maybe even more as U.S. troops and coalition partners leave the nation. By the July 4th weekend, the iconic Bagram Air Base, a key hub of U.S. and coalition power in Afghanistan, will likely be turned over completely to Afghan forces. And that is another sign that the Afghan troops, Afghan security personnel, are on their own.
Immediately after the withdrawal, or as the withdrawal started, the main impact was psychological impact. And then there was actual impact as well, because Afghanistan security forces dependent on the support from the US or NATO, air support or transportation or intelligence and all of that. So the part of that support will not be there anymore.
For the past 20 years, U.S. forces and coalition partners have been in Afghanistan to keep the Taliban at bay. Recently, a Taliban fighter was seen taking a selfie in Mazar-e-Sharif, one of the first cities recaptured in 2001. Now the Taliban is back. It's a real indication that the Taliban is sweeping across the nation, and the Afghan security personnel are going to have a real fight on their hands, a real struggle to survive.
The violence remains too high, and we're all aware of the security situation in Afghanistan. I think you saw General Miller speak to that earlier today. Concerns over the security situation there. What we want to see, what we'd like to see, is the Taliban return to the peace process in a credible way. And as we see events on the ground unfold, it certainly calls into question the sincerity of their efforts to be a legitimate, credible participant in the peace process. That's really the right future for Afghanistan, as a political process that leads to a negotiated settlement.
As all this is happening, President Joe Biden met with Afghan President Ghani and promised continued U.S. support for Afghanistan, but that support will not be on the ground in Afghanistan. U.S. military leaders have said that any kind of support for Afghan forces will be over the horizon from other countries. Marine Corps General Kenneth McKenzie Jr., the head of U.S. Central Command, recently told me that the only way that U.S. forces would engage on the ground in Afghanistan is if U.S. national security interests were on the line and Afghan forces could not stop the Taliban or ISIS-K from threatening the U.S.
The partnership between Afghanistan and the United States is not ending. It's going to be sustained. And, our troops may be leaving, but support for Afghanistan is not ending in terms of support and maintenance of helping maintain their military, as well as economic and political support.
Just for your information, today, the Afghan Defense and Security Forces have retaken 6 districts, both in the south and the north. It's showing our determination. So I hope that nobody does the Bernard Shaw on us, exaggerating our debt before something has happened. Let us understand that in moments of great transition, things happen, but you will see that with determination, with unity, and with the partnership, we will overcome all odds.
As the U.S. and coalition partners pull out of Afghanistan, the Afghan government is arming militias to help augment the Afghan National Security Forces in the fight against the Taliban and ISIS-K.
سالها و سالها به خاطر آرامش ما، به خاطر همین جامعه ما، به خاطر فرهنگ ما خون دادن، قربانی دادن و امروز برای ماست که ما باید از او پاسداری بکنیم. در این حالت خراب و وخیم که 42 کشور خارجی امروز برآمده.
Several U.S. presidential administrations have tried to leave the Middle East, but the problems there remain dangerous and volatile and in many ways intractable. U.S. Central Command, which oversees military operations in that region, will continue to be very busy as U.S. forces remain in the region and counter-influence from Iran. We'll be tracking all this as it develops. For Military Times, this is Managing Editor Howard Altman.